Welcome to Famevora. Roadhouse was never just a barroom action movie. It was sweat, neon, broken glass, blues music, and one quiet man trying to bring order to a town ruled by fear. But behind the punches and the cult classic one-liners were real stories far more emotional than any fight scene. Sudden fame, painful illness, shocking losses, quiet reinventions, and lives that took turns no script could have predicted. Today, we look back at the Roadhouse cast, then and now, and uncover what happened after the Double Deuce finally closed its doors. James Dalton didn't simply arrive at the Double Deuce, he brought philosophy into a room built on broken glass and fists. Patrick Swayze, born August 18, 1952 in Houston, Texas, 37 years old when Roadhouse premiered in 1989, played the legendary Cooler with lethal calm and a moral code that made him far more than a typical action hero. Dalton mattered because Swayze gave him genuine soul. Tough without being hollow, his battle against Brad Wesley became a portrait of one man standing against corruption while everyone else had learned to simply live with it. Swayze's legend deepened through Ghost and Point Break, before pancreatic cancer took his life in 2009 at age 57. Dalton endures because Swayze made toughness feel soulful, a warrior who moved like a wounded poet. Dr. Elizabeth Clay gave Roadhouse its emotional counterweight, the one person who could see the man behind Dalton's scars. Kelly Lynch, born January 31, 1959, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. 30 years old when the film premiered in 1989, played the intelligent doctor with warmth and clarity that stood apart from the surrounding violence. Elizabeth mattered because she wasn't simply a love interest. She represented the life Dalton might have chosen if peace had ever felt possible. Lynch gave the role real strength, making her one of the few who could genuinely challenge him. Lynch continued a respected career in Drugstore Cowboy, The L Word, and Magic City. In 2026, Kelly Lynch is 67. Elizabeth endures because even the toughest man needs someone who sees the pain he refuses to name. Wade Garrett gave Roadhouse its old soul wisdom, earned through too many fights, too many scars, and too many nights watching trouble walk through the door. Sam Elliott, born August 9, 1944 in Sacramento, California, 44 years old when the film premiered in 1989, played Dalton's mentor with that unmistakable voice, rugged calm, and weary confidence only decades of hard living could produce. Wade mattered because he represented the man Dalton might eventually become, experienced, loyal, still dangerous, but carrying the true cost of a violent profession. Elliott earned major recognition through A Star is Born and 1883. In 2026, Sam Elliott is 82. Wade endures because wisdom sometimes arrives wearing boots, carrying pain, speaking only when the truth is worth saying. Brad Wesley turned small-town corruption into something theatrical and unforgettable, a smiling tyrant who treated control as personal entertainment. Ben Gazzara, born August 28, 1930 in New York City, 58 years old when Roadhouse premiered in 1989, played the wealthy crime boss who ruled Jasper through fear and casual violence with old-school craft and genuine menace. Wesley mattered because he didn't just want power. He enjoyed being obeyed. Against Dalton's discipline, he became the film's complete image of rot. Gazzara continued a long, respected career across film and theater, passing away in 2012 at age 81. Wesley endures because the most dangerous men aren't hiding in shadows. Sometimes they simply own the whole town. Cody gave Roadhouse its blues-soaked soul, the music reminding everyone inside the Double Deuce why they came there to feel alive. Jeff Healey, born March 25, 1966, in Toronto, Canada, just 23 years old when the film premiered in 1989, played the blind musician whose friendship with Dalton added genuine warmth to the surrounding chaos. Cody mattered because his guitar gave the film a heartbeat beyond the violence. Healy wasn't acting. He brought his actual musical brilliance to the screen with a style that made him completely unforgettable. Healy built a respected career as a blues rock guitarist before cancer claimed his life in 2008 at age 41. Cody endures because Healy gave the film something no fight scene ever could, a sound that still feels alive after the room goes quiet. Jimmy brought pure physical menace into Roadhouse. Dalton's dark mirror, equally disciplined but carrying none of the moral restraint. Marshall R. Teague, born February 26, 1953 in Bradenton, Florida, 36 years old when the film premiered in 1989, played Brad Wesley's most dangerous enforcer with cold confidence and frightening focus. Jimmy mattered because he was everything Dalton might have become without a code. Their brutal confrontation became one of the film's defining moments. After Roadhouse, Teague built a steady career in action films and television. In 2026, Marshall Teague is 73. Jimmy endures because he gave Dalton a real test, not just of strength, but whether a man can survive brutality without becoming it. Red Webster gave Roadhouse one of its most grounded human truths: the ordinary working man inside a town where corruption had quietly become routine. Red West, born November 15, 1936 in Memphis, Tennessee, 53 years old when the film premiered in 1989, played the auto parts store owner pushed around by Brad Wesley with weathered authenticity and genuine dignity. Red mattered because he wasn't a fighter, just a working man protecting what he'd built. His friendship with Dalton defined what was truly at stake beyond the double deuce. West had been a close friend and bodyguard in Elvis Presley's inner circle. He passed away in 2017 at age 81. Red endures because he represented people who don't look for a fight until a fight becomes the only option left. Frank Tillman set the entire story in motion. The desperate bar owner brave enough to bring in someone capable of changing everything. Kevin Tighe, born August 13, 1944, in Los Angeles, California, 45 years old when the film premiered in 1989, played the overwhelmed double deuce owner with fear, hope, and moral uncertainty that made his decision feel genuinely difficult. Tillman mattered because he represented the moment someone finally says enough. By hiring Dalton, he took a risk that changed every life in Jasper. Tighe continued an impressive career beloved for Emergency and recognized for roles in Lost. In 2026, Kevin Tighe is 82. Tillman endures because change often begins not with the strongest man, but the one brave enough to ask for help. Emmett gave Roadhouse its dusty, watchful sense of place. The quiet landlord who offered Dalton shelter in a town that had forgotten what shelter felt like. Sunshine Parker, born April 27, 1927 in Oklahoma, 62 years old when the film premiered in 1989, played the easygoing barn owner with weathered warmth that made the character feel genuinely inhabited. Emmett mattered because he represented the older, quieter side of Jasper, people who recognized when something truly different had arrived. His rough barn gave Dalton a temporary home in a world built on instability. Parker continued in film and television with lived-in authenticity, passing away in 1999 at age 71. Emmett endures because shelter can arrive through the simplest, most unassuming act of human kindness. Pat McGurn showed exactly how rotten the double deuce had become. Corruption already wearing a bartender's apron before Dalton walked through the door. John Doe, born February 25, 1953, in Decatur, Illinois, 36 years old when Roadhouse premiered in 1989, played the dishonest bartender caught stealing and swiftly fired, marking Dalton's first visible act of internal cleansing. Pat mattered because he represented quiet corruption, entitlement, and loyalty to the wrong people. His firing made one thing clear. Cleaning up the bar meant cutting out the rot already behind the counter. After Roadhouse, John Doe continued a major career as co-founder of punk band X, musician, and writer. In 2026, John Doe is 73. Pat endures because the real battle was already inside the system itself. Denise brought danger, seduction, and quiet tragedy into Brad Wesley's world, alluring on the surface, trapped inside a man's definition of possession. Julie Michaels, born July 4, 1970 in the United States, just 19 years old when Roadhouse premiered in 1989, played Wesley's girlfriend whose attraction to Dalton exposed the intimate cruelty beneath the crime boss's polished exterior. Denise mattered because what lingers isn't her famous dance sequence. It's the punishment that followed, proof Wesley's power was personal as well as political. After Roadhouse, Michaels built a distinguished career as actress and stunt coordinator. In 2026, Julie Michaels is 56. Denise endures because inside Wesley's town, even desire could become genuinely dangerous. Carrie gave the Double Deuce a sharp tongue and a human pulse, the bartender who kept her personality intact inside a room designed to strip everything decent away. Kathleen Wilhoit, born March 29, 1964, in Santa Barbara, California, 25 years old when Roadhouse premiered in 1989, played the spirited bartender with humor and genuine warmth that made the chaos feel populated by real people. Carrie mattered because she reminded viewers Dalton wasn't just cleaning up a business, he was changing actual lives of real working people inside it. After Roadhouse, Wilhoit continued across film, television, voice acting, and music. In 2026, Kathleen Wilhoit is 62. Carrie endures because she represented everyday toughness, refusing to be swallowed by the room. Morgan brought professional wrestling intensity into Roadhouse's barroom violence, the kind of threat only someone who had actually fought for a living could deliver. Terry Funk, born June 30, 1944 in Hammond, Indiana, 45 years old when the film premiered in 1989, played the aggressive bouncer whose brutal energy represented everything the old Double Deuce had been built on. Morgan mattered because he embodied the raw culture of intimidation Dalton had to overcome, and Funk's real fighting background made every threat feel completely earned. Funk became one of professional wrestling's most legendary performers. He passed away in 2023 at age 79. Morgan endures because Terry Funk brought real combat history to the screen and made the violence feel genuinely unscripted. Jack brought a lighter, more human touch to the rough world of the Double Deuce, the friendly giant who made even the worst nights feel slightly less hopeless. Travis McKenna, born in 1960 in the United States, 29 years old when Roadhouse premiered in 1989, played the warm, oversized bartender with good humor and easy likability that stood out clearly against the surrounding chaos. Jack mattered because he helped show what Dalton was truly working to protect, working people who genuinely wanted the Double Deuce to become something worth returning to. McKenna continued in film and television using his physical presence and natural warmth. In 2026, Travis McKenna is 66. Jack endures because even in a bar built on violence, there were still people inside it worth saving. Steve showed exactly the kind of behavior Dalton was hired to eliminate: strength without discipline, authority without accountability. Gary Hudson, born November 6, 1956 in Flint, Michigan, 33 years old when Roadhouse premiered in 1989, played the misconduct-prone bouncer whose early dismissal established Dalton's code immediately and without negotiation. Steve mattered because he proved the Double Deuce's danger wasn't only coming from outside. Some men paid to keep order had become part of the problem themselves. Hudson built a steady career across television and film in action movies and thrillers. In 2026, Gary Hudson is 70. Steve endures because he helped define Dalton's philosophy. Be nice until it's time to remove those who mistake power for permanent permission. Ketchum brought expert menace to Wesley's violent machine. Not just another enforcer, but a man whose physical discipline made every threat feel precisely calibrated. Anthony DeLongis, born April 2, 1950 in the United States, 39 years old when Roadhouse premiered in 1989, played the ruthless henchman with real combat skill that elevated the film's action authenticity. Ketchum mattered because DeLongis brought genuine expertise, making Wesley's crew feel like a true threat rather than disposable background muscle. DeLongis continued a distinguished career as stunt performer, fight choreographer, and weapons specialist. In 2026, Anthony DeLongis is 76. Ketchum endures because he represented real craft beneath the violence, skill making every dangerous moment feel earned. And that is the story of the Roadhouse cast. The fighters, musicians, villains, drifters, and familiar faces who helped turn a rough barroom action film into a cult classic that never stopped fighting its way through popular culture. Some became legends, some built quieter careers behind the noise, and some are sadly no longer with us, leaving behind performances that feel even stronger with time. But the Double Deuce still echoes with blues, broken glass, and Dalton's quiet code. Tell us in the comments, which Roadhouse character do you remember most? And join us again on Famevora. Good night.